Hey friends, I just felt drawn to hop on here tonight. It's a little bit late, but wherever you're watching and whenever you're watching this, I'm glad that you're here. I felt to just share an encouragement about being dressed for service and keeping your lamps burning. Jesus said that in Luke 12:35, said, "Be dressed for service and keep your lamps burning." Another version says, "Stay dressed for action and keep your lamps burning." Another one says, "Be prepared and keep your lamps lit." And I just felt this nudge tonight to mention about 2 Timothy 2:4, where it says, "No soldier gets entangled in civilian pursuits, since his aim is to please or to be in alignment, in agreement with the one who enlisted him." You know, there was a whole thing in the 90s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, you know, about being a soldier for Christ and all of that. But what I'm talking about here is not allowing our energy and our focus to be just drawn away by all the things that are coming up, vying for our energy and attention all the time. We're not to be entangled with all of those pursuits. Our goal is to stay in alignment with the one, that one voice, that one calling that is true for us, right? What we're here for. And there are just so many distractions right now. Jeremiah 12:5 came to mind as well. "If you have run with the footmen and they have wearied you, then how can you contend with horses? And if in the land of peace in which you trusted, they wearied you, then how will you do in the floodplain of the Jordan?" This is a cautionary message contained in here that if you're tired now, if you're distracted now, if you're wearied now, how are you going to manage when things get even more challenging? Because they really could, couldn't they? So don't be running with everything that calls to your attention. Be discerning. Be careful about where your energy is flowing, where your attention is going, and where your energy is flowing, so that you don't get weary at this time. This is what they say, a year of the fire horse, right? It's getting fiery, it's getting fast, it's getting probably some of the fastest times that we've ever been in, and things are changing so rapidly. So we can't afford to be running along with everything that is calling for our attention and trying to draw our energy toward it. We're going to get so weary that when it comes time to having to keep up with the horses, we're not going to have any energy left. We're not going to have any focus left. So we have to be careful. You know, if in a land of peace in which we trusted, we become weary, how are we going to manage when we're in the floodplains of Jordan, when the really high waters come in, when the hell and high water breaks out, right? This truly is a time, like we were saying at the beginning, to heed those words of Jesus, to be dressed for service and to keep your lamps burning and not get entangled, right, with all kinds of different pursuits just because it happens to be right there in front of one's eyes. We've got to be discerning, and we've got to be careful about where our energy is flowing right now. Matthew 25 comes to mind as well tonight. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps, but they did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars with their lamps. Now that takes some preparation. That takes a little bit of pre-thought, doesn't it? That you're not just going to just meander along. You're not just going to walk out the door every morning and just go whatever's happening. I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to run along with the footmen and find myself all weary. No, there was some thought to that. There was some foresight to that. I'm going to take my lamp, but I'm going to take some extra oil with me. And I think we're being called to do that right now. When you look at what's happening in the world, this is a time not to be just throwing our energy all over the place, throwing our focus all over the place, throwing our light even all over the place, but to gather our resources, to bring our ourselves back to our center, to our core, to our calling, right? To fortify the kingdom of God within, to trim that lamp of God in the temple of God, and to let it be burning brightly. And so they took extra oil with them, and the bridegroom was a long time in coming, it says, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. They all became drowsy and fell asleep. Do you need a little alarm bell tonight? I know I've needed one. Sickness will make you drowsy and fall asleep. Challenges will make you drowsy and fall asleep, right? Job loss will make you drowsy and fall asleep. All kinds of things are out there. News stories and articles and social media will make us drowsy and fall asleep. But at midnight there will be a cry, and it says, here's the bridegroom come out to meet him. Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish ones said to the wise, give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out. Now, if you were confronted with that, give me some of your oil. I don't have what I need right now. You'd think that the compassionate thing to do would be, okay, all right, here you go. Here's some of the oil. The wise virgins did one of the most boundary things I've ever seen. And they said this, no, they replied. There may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves. So isn't that a beautiful picture of boundaries? If ever I saw one, it's up to each and every individual person to recognize when their lamp is growing dim. And not in any judgment, not in any criticism, because we all fall asleep sometimes. We all get distracted by things going on around us, especially at a time like this. But if you know that you need to take that extra bit of time, if you need to have that little retreat, if you need to take that time off of work, if you need to turn off the television, if you need to stop allowing your energy to just go here, there, and everywhere, and 8 hours of screen time a day and what have you, we're all guilty of it, right? And you need to gather some oil for your lamp so that it's burning brightly. Now would be a good time to do it, so that you have all that you need, not just when we're running with the footmen, but when we have to contend with the horses, when things get fiery and hot and harder and more challenging in the earth. Are we going to have the resources that we need? Is the kingdom of God going to be fortified and strong within us? That's what we want. That's what we want, right? So Ephesians 6:11, put on the full armor of God so you can make your stand. So you can make your stand against the devil's schemes. What are we talking about, the devil here? I'm not talking about a red costumed horned creature. I'm talking about the diablos, and the root of that is relationship severa. Relationship severa. The number one relationship you never want to get severed from is the relationship you have with your true self, with your essence. Right? You don't want to be experiencing a severing because your attention is getting pulled this way and that. You don't want to be that soldier that's getting entangled and enmeshed in all kinds of pursuits and all kinds of distractions out there. You don't want to be severed from your relationship with your essence, with your strength, with your true empowerment, with your Christos power. So a house divided against itself can't stand. So we have to make a determination. We have to be very clear about where our energy is going, where our focus is going, because where our focus and our attention goes, our energy is going to flow. And now would be a good time to gather yourself back. Gather yourself back. Fortify the kingdom of God within you. Make sure that all your Christos power is gathered to you and not leaking out all over the place. Has your jar got holes in it? Do you need to do some patch-up work? Do you need to fortify yourself so that your lamp is burning bright and you have oil, all the oil that you need, not just for this time when we're running with the footmen and already getting weary, but so that we can contend with the horses, so that we can contend not only in times of peace, but when things get really difficult. So we know that's possible. right? So this is just a little call out tonight for all of the beautiful light bearers and the way showers and the beautiful ones that are holding the light. You've been holding the light so diligently for so long, and you've been through so many hardships. You've been through hell and high water, and you're still somehow standing, but you might be a little bit weary, and you might be a little bit distracted. And if you are, I can say I can relate entirely. And I just want to say tonight, come back to your center, bring your energy back to yourself, get that jar out and get it filled with oil, do what you have to do, go outside, pace, pray in tongues, whatever you got to do, exercise and stir up the gift of God that's within you. Remember that the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells in you, and it quickens your mortal body. Just lift up your hands if you have to. Let the Spirit of God come upon you afresh. Even tonight, even as I'm sharing this, even as you're listening to the sound of my voice, that's it. Go ahead. Just allow the Spirit of God to just pour out on you afresh tonight. Open up your hands, open up your heart. Allow the kingdom of God within you to be touched by the Spirit tonight, touched by the fire of God tonight. Get relit tonight. Bring your energy back from all of those places where it's been leaking, where you've been distracted, where you've been watching the TV, watching the news. Yes, it's important to know what's going on, and we don't want our heads buried in the sand. But you know what? We haven't even started yet, and we've got a little ways to go. So let's be like those soldiers that are not being entangled in civilian affairs, and get back in alignment with that one God, the one true God who brought us here for such a time as this, to shine brightly and to be the light of the world. You know, you might feel helpless, like, what can I do at a time like this when I just am watching so much disintegrate in front of me? And one of the greatest things that you could ever do is just keep walking in the light as He is in the light. Just keep shining brightly. As it says in Luke 12:35, Jesus' words, be dressed for service and keep your lamps burning. That is one of the greatest things that you can do at this time, because as people fall by the wayside, weary, confused, needing a light to guide their way, your lamp is going to be trimmed and it's going to be burning brightly. And that is one of the greatest things that you can do. So I hope you're encouraged by this tonight, and share it out, because I think it's a word in season. And let me know what you think in the comments. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.